Does a viral video on TikTok actually change your life or business in any way? This is Berdine. I met her when she was working at the content team of her previous job. After being laid off, she realized she had a bunch of time and started making content for herself. Next thing I know, she's blown up and she's making millions and millions of views consistently in her TikTok channel. And now on her Instagram as well. She has over 100,000 followers on both platforms and she's killing it. How can she make all these viral videos consistently? And more importantly, has this actually changed her life or business in any way? Today, I'm gonna ask her if these videos are actually changing her business and bringing in cash, and we're gonna talk about different content tactics she's using to go viral consistently. This video is sponsored by my friends at Riverside, but I'll talk more about this later. You and I worked together like maybe half a year or like a year ago?
Yes.
And I remember you were working on the content for the brand you were working with.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of chats on like, how can we make a video go viral and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, 3 months later, you're blowing up on TikTok. What happened?
Honestly, great question. I still don't really know what happened. All that I do know is that I took all of your advice to heart, really started diving into it, and yeah, kind of here we are. I started applying the concept, mainly the concept that you told me about. You have to be visible for the big audience. You have to make stuff for the big audience. That's what really helped. And then, of course, just diving into how other people do it and just learning from that also really helped. And then I guess I started at like 300 or 400 is when it really popped off. So I had... I already had some followers on Instagram, probably around like 4,000 to 5,000. And I started from zero on TikTok, and I was still doing things the old way. And also with the old way, I also mean my old business. So I had a bag brand and doing things the old way, like literally advertising on social media. And I was just honestly not getting anywhere. And it was just very demotivating to constantly do the same things and, of course, getting the same results. And then what I started doing was, well, obviously learn from other viral creators and learn from how they edit their videos, like how do they start, what kind of tactics do they use. But also, I think one of my main things was to stay close to myself and do something that I really like to do and just make videos with that and then see what happens, you know?
Okay, let's pause right here for a second because I want to give you a little bit of a behind the scenes on how I made this video. Every time there's guests on my episodes, I record all their content with Riverside. Our videos are recorded locally on both of our devices, which means that if the connection breaks or anything happens, we're good. This is actually the main reason why I started using Riverside 2 years ago, but it's a completely new tool today. During the last few months, they've been incorporating a lot of very interesting AI tools. All the video you record is automatically transcribed. That allows you to edit your video by making changes on the text. Magic Clips is another AI tool that will find the most relevant moments of the conversation and create clips that are ready to post on social media. And one of my favorites, AI Notes, super useful also for meetings, that will summarize the conversation and even create chapters for your YouTube videos. Absolutely essential tool for me, and I'm super happy that I was able to partner with them and make it easier for you to get started. All you need to do is click on the link down below and use my code AlexAntolino for a 15% off discount when you sign up. I would say do what I did and experiment with it for a month or two. It's not even 20 bucks a month with a discount, so there's not much you're gonna lose there. And you might unlock great content opportunities in meetings you're already having by just thinking media first and having the right tool. So just think about it. Now let's go back to a video.
So I think one of the videos of a table that I made, I'm actually looking at it, blew up out of absolutely nowhere. And I was seriously so shocked with what happened, because I was like, okay, is this what it's like? Is this what I want? Is this what it's supposed to happen? Is this what's happening even? Like, what's happening? I couldn't sleep. I think for like 2 or 3 days, I couldn't sleep properly. Because I also have this thing where I'm kind of afraid of being perceived by people, and it's going better and better. But if someone has an opinion about me, I take that very personally. So with that happening, I was just feeling like all eyes were on me and making it bigger than it was. And eventually it's just a video that people saw. It's fine. But that was kind of shocking. And then after that, I think after the whole thing with the table was done, I just thought, okay, so apparently I just need to do what I like to do. And that is just making crazy stuff for my house. And I continued on doing that. Yeah, and just even though my brand initially was a bag brand, leather bag brand, but I was like, why not put my house in it too? Because we've discussed before that it's not just about the product. It's about you can talk about, or you can put just someone in front of a camera with good thoughts about something, and if they have their eyes on them, they can use that to leverage their business. So I was like, why not just incorporate the house? And it makes sense because the house is a visual style thing and bags are a visual style thing. And well, one thing led to another. Essentially, I think with TikTok, I'm at 111,000 followers now. And
That's insane.
that is pretty insane. And Instagram just caught up and it's on 113, I think.
Oh, really?
Stuck forever at 4,000, forever stuck. And yeah, all of a sudden it happened.
Wow. I mean, I was really excited to talk with you because you have this like incredible success story, and it's, I think, so relatable for like anyone watching. Not the numbers, because like we not necessarily have these numbers, but like your story of someone who was just like doing the thing that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden blows up. You can't even sleep, right?
Yeah.
So there's so much things to unpack here. You talked about the old way and the new way, and I really want to talk about that for everyone watching. Mm-hmm. But I also wanted to dive into your experience. Like the video went viral, had like what, like how many, like million views or something like that? The first one?
Yeah, I think the first one that went viral, I think. Well, there was a couple of other ones that weren't really related to my brand or a visual thing. It was just a funny thing. But the first one that actually went viral for the product itself or for what I made, I think is now on TikTok at 33 million.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so let's first talk about this, like your experience, because you're a business owner, right? So you have your own like online shop. You've been doing this for like a couple of years, like like for a minute, right?
Yeah.
And now you started making videos with TikTok at home, and then you've got this video going like absolutely nuts, and then you can't even sleep. So tell me, because we might have had like one video. I have one video had like 3 million views or something like that, and the experience is kind of like a super weird moment of like rush of dopamine, like oh my god, I don't know what to do. But then you did it again and again and again, and you overcame that and just keep doing it. So how did it feel? Does a viral video actually make a difference in your life?
Yes. I don't like to admit that it does contribute to certain positive things, because I mean, everyone keeps saying social media is fake, of course, yada yada. But the thing is, I personally have always believed that whatever I do is not good enough, because I always seem to meet people that either don't want to be encouraging, to say it nicely, or just say flat out that whatever I do is just shit. And over the years, I've started to believe that. And then having this happen, actually, even though I was already moving past the insecurity and already tried to be more confident, this happening is just like, it's good enough. Like, trust yourself. It's good. So yeah, in that sense, it really, really, really made a difference for me. And now I'm like, it's not that I'm saying, oh, see, but 33, how many people agree with me? No, it's like, just trust yourself and it will be fine. And it's not about bragging in any way. It's just about believing in yourself. I don't want to sound like a Disney movie, but that's literally what it is. You have to trust your own self and then do the thing that you love, and ta-da, things happen.
All right. So how has your life, if anything, changed from when you were like making videos, not getting like a crazy amount of views, and now like you've been consistently blowing up on like more than one platform. I wasn't aware that like on Instagram you had like blown up as well, right? So how has your life changed in the last few months?
I think the coolest thing that has changed is that I can actually make things and sell those things. Like for example, I made some drippy shelves. They went pretty good on Instagram.
I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm selling them now. That's really cool. So I can just make things that I like, not necessarily for a certain aesthetic, just because, you know, sometimes an idea pops in my head, which literally happens like within a flash, usually when I'm trying to sleep, which is annoying. But I just see it in my head and I'm like, yeah, that's going to be so cool. And then I make it and then it's cool. And then I post it and other people find it cool. And I'm like, that's golden. I can also make other people happy with that. So yeah, that changed a lot. That changed a lot. And it's not that I am now super rich, super mega rich. That's definitely not the case. I'm trying to find a certain...
Not yet.
Not yet. But, you know, also with brand deals and stuff, that's also gonna develop over time. So
all right.
Those things I'm interested in doing, but mainly just making stuff that I really like and then selling those things. And
okay.
So yeah, it kind of shifted from, I want to say like leather accessories to like maybe more home interior things and just a broader spectrum, just making cool shit essentially.
All right. So I really want to get into the details of the business and how actually impacted your business. Did you sell out or not? But before we get into that, talk to me and to everyone watching about the old way and the new way. What do you mean by that?
Okay. So the old way, and this is something that I've learned from the best from you. The old way is really just giving someone a photo of a product or a video of a product and be like, okay, this is our product, buy it. Here it is. Just get it.
On your face.
Yeah. And just not really an explanation necessarily. Sometimes, of course, they do give you the benefits and it's a whole video about, well, this is what this product can do. You need this, da, 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 da. That's kind of the old way. It's just old marketing, advertising stuff. And that's how I used to do it too. It was like, oh, I made this cool bag. Ta-da. And then that's it, you know, and then hoping that people would buy, which they didn't. That's why it was so frustrating over time. And the new way, though, is so much more about personality, storytelling. It has to be somewhat of an experience or a story, just getting you from point A to point Z, whatever, to tell a story, and then because of that story being engaging, people actually wanting to buy it. It's not anymore about a product on its own. It's more like maybe someone told this story about a hair care product, and the story is not about this is good for your hair, but the story is now I fried my hair off and oh my God, what am I going to do? And there's this whole story happening, brands getting involved. And then, I don't know, the girl maybe, there's this girl that looks like Kylie Jenner. That's actually what pops into my mind. Like she fried her hair off. She messed up her hair. And now she has all these brands coming to her and, you know, the K18 and probably Olaplex, I'm assuming, to fix her hair. And that is so much more engaging because you're actually listening to a personal story of someone and something that's happening, something that's relatable. And you're so involved that you now remember that K18. It's just so much better than when they have just said, this is K18, this is good for your hair, buy it.
Right. I completely agree with that. Stories are like the most powerful way to reach people now, and like those stories being personal just build so much trust and credibility. I'm interested in your case because like one thing is to work with creators or influencers to leverage their trust into your brand. And I think what you're doing goes one step farther. You're the one making these products, you're the founder, and like most people would say, just don't use your own personal brand to promote your stuff, but you're using your business brand, but you're using your personal brand to do that super successfully. So what do you think, how do you think the relationship with your audience works in telling those stories and eventually them converting to your products?
That's a really good question. I've been thinking about this myself too, because basically how I saw it and how I'm seeing it is just, I make things and that's it. That's like the story. So I don't dive too much into it, but I try to understand it. And I think it's partly that I just want to show people that I'm actually capable of doing these things, and that I have the creativity to kind of back it up what I'm selling. So that people will have more trust in the person that they're buying from, and that they also see that it is personal, because I am actually touching that product. I am the one making it. I am the one who is going to package it and ship it to your house. So I think that adds a layer of personality and personal, just a personal layer. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really it. And sometimes the products themselves are the ones doing the selling for me, because sometimes I have a wacky idea and it's just the idea itself is like, oh, that's wacky. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at this video, and then people are like, oh my god, I want to have one too, or stuff like that. So sometimes it's just the creativity, sometimes it's the level of personal, the personal aspect, and sometimes it's just showing people that this is legit. This is an actual like nice product, and you get what you pay for, essentially.
Right, and you've been blowing up on TikTok first, which I have I've heard a lot of people and like brands or like C-level executives of brands being like, yeah, TikTok's great for the brand awareness, but it doesn't really convert. So what's your experience in like actually selling stuff on TikTok with these viral videos? Because you've got do you count the views at this time, or like do you, it's just like
not anymore.
Okay.
I think I do look at them, but I did notice that it was eating away in my mental health, because I was also I think at a very long period it wasn't going very well, so that was eating away at my mental health. So right now I'm not like checking it every single minute of the day.
That's good.
Yeah,
I think that's good. And how has it impacted you? Have you been able to sell stuff through TikTok?
Yes, I have. I think actually, I cannot measure this exactly, but I feel like if something goes viral, like really viral on TikTok, there is going to be people that are like, yeah, instantly I'm going to sell. If they are really, really, really easily sold, or not easily sold, but if they're really convinced that the product is really cool, I feel like they're converting very quickly. But it has to be something that's catchy. It has to be something that's special and that is just not that generic. And I think I remember when I made those drippy shelves, I saw this orange thing in my mind, and I was like, yeah, that's great for TikTok. I just instantly knew. And I think for that specific product, most people are actually coming from TikTok. Also because it went more viral over there, but still, I feel like it's more TikTok buyers, to be fair.
And what do you think makes that product so good for TikTok?
I think it's funky, it is young, and it just catches attention. Like nobody is ever, how do you say? You have to be either very outrageous or extremely loud, or you have to have something that catches your eye in order for people to want it. And I will not participate in being loud or outrageous or make extreme claims or anything. So therefore, I have to let the design speak for itself. And that also works on that platform. And just, because it's young, I think I cannot really look into whoever buys it, but I feel like it's more young people that do.
How has it impacted your business? Like from before the business you have, like what you were doing, and after these videos blew up, have you noticed besides this product in particular, like people buying more stuff, or like how has it changed your business?
I do notice that they really come to me for one specific thing that they saw. So that's, of course, the beauty of making a video like that, is that they want that specific product. So that's what they come for. The other stuff that I was already selling, it didn't really impact that, because they really come for that one product and then they sell that. Yeah, has it impact? It was more personal, I think, the impact, and
Okay.
also, well, brand wise, it also changed. First off, I was having an identity crisis because I was like, oh, but what if I cannot do the bags anymore? And oh, what does this mean actually? Like, do I have to move directions? And what do I? Well, it was a whole lot of stress on my side, but positive stress, I would say. And then I just decided to slowly like move, slowly incorporate more things, and the bags can still be there. I don't have to like get that off of my website. That doesn't make sense because I still love the products. So I can do both, and that's what I'm doing now. And just I feel like there's a lot of people who want to collaborate. That changed a lot. Like
Okay.
the doing a service for them and not providing a product. So just collaborating with them in the videos and saying, oh, this is the product, blah, 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 just content collaboration. That also changed, the fact that I'm doing that now. It's not a lot, but I'm doing that. Um, so yeah, I think that is what mainly changed. That I'm just offering different services, that I'm making new products, different products, and that I'm doing it the whole other way around, because content always came last, and right now it's the beginning of the process.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. This is something I've heard also talk about other creators that like have a similar setup than you. For example, Matthew Wenzina, who's a good friend, also has this setup in which he creates content and then products out of that content and has sponsors for that content.
Right.
Which I honestly, that's what I think the future of any brand will be. But I think that also gives you like a bunch of revenue streams.
Yeah.
So it's not just your product anymore, your media, well, we would have thought about before as advertisement or marketing now becomes an asset of your company, like your product is your media as well. Do you
Yeah.
think in those terms as well?
Yes. I still the first thing that I do is think about what I want to do. So that's step one. But then
Okay.
step two is make a video of it. So whatever I think about and whatever I feel like my house needs in that moment is going to be first. But I will always shoot content of it. And sometimes it's just, me renovating something in my house. So it's more boring. I'm not trying to sell a product. It's just what I'm doing at that point. So it's just, hey, look at me. Here is a tip for you that you can use for your house. For example, the wall color that I made is of 2 different types of paint. So it's a DIY lime wash paint. It's just a tip that you can use if you don't have money for lime wash paint because it's hella expensive. So sometimes those kinds of tips I also throw in. So people do really find value in it, because I also just want to share. I want to show people how you can achieve this. And, people, whatever I make, people can also DIY that themselves. It's not like they have to buy from me. They don't have to do that at all. So it's just educational, entertainment, and also just inspirational, I would say.
Yeah.
Was that the question even? I got off track, I realized.
No, that's fine. That's completely fine. Yeah. Which leads into the type of content and the way you make it, which is,
Yes.
I want to switch gears a little bit because a lot of people may be watching this. They're like, oh my God, this is cool. I want to do that. But let's be real. You're a founder. You're busy. You're thinking about your your products. You're thinking about a gazillion number of things.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh my God, like I don't have time to make the videos. And I think that's something you've been able to do that consistently and successfully. So the first question in this topic for you is, what's your process? Like, how do you make your videos in how does your week look like?
That's a good question, because it changes every week, even though I do need more structure, I admit that. But it just starts out with an idea. So usually when I try to fall asleep or something, my whole body relaxes. And because my mind is always very chaotic, that's when the actual ideas start to pop up. So when I have that idea, it can also happen during the day, or when I brush my teeth, it happens a lot. I just start walking around the house, brushing my teeth, and I'll be like, that looks kind of odd. Like maybe I can do something with that. And while I brush my teeth, I'm like, yeah, I think I know what to do. And then that idea is planted. So I'm going to put it a place in my head. I'm going to move forward with my week. Maybe I'm shooting something else. And then if the idea sticks, I'm going to do something with it. So if I think about it the next day, I'm going to do something with it. So I do research. For example, the steel table, someone sent me a photo of a cool acrylic table, if I remember. I started researching, and then I found another table, which was a steel table. And I was like, I think I can seriously make that. I think I can do it. So researching the material, like, can I bend steel? Is that possible? Like, how do other people bend steel? And then I always think creatively, like, not to buy a whole, what is it called? Like, one of those
like
benches.
a bending machine or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that, but can I do that in DIY? And then I start thinking, I'm like, yeah, maybe if I use PVC pipe or something and then clamp it and then, yeah, it's got to work. Then I research the materials. I'm going to see if it's doable to how do you say that? To buy the materials for it, that it doesn't become too expensive, because that's defying the DIY mentality, I think. And then I get the stuff. So usually I'm like on the road, like maybe if I have the idea on the Monday, I'm on the road on a Tuesday. I'm also starting something out on the Tuesday, like trying to figure out, does this work? Can I do this? And yada, yada. Sometimes I have to wait a bit longer for my materials. And then, yeah, I think that maybe it depends on the project, but it's about like a day or 4 that I can fully finish it. So when I have the materials in the house, I am like, okay, how do I film this? Where do I do it first? Usually it's in my living room. I'm working on my studio. That's where I want to continue shooting for the future. And then when I start filming, I try to think well about angles and stuff and lighting, but I am also very busy in my head with the project that I'm doing. So sometimes, I'm not going to lie, it's extremely frustrating to also keep shooting. I don't want to make it nicer than it is. I'm like, I don't want to film it. I just don't want to film it. I want to focus on the project, but I do it anyway. And then I say to myself, as long as I shoot it, it's fine. I can edit it later. It's fine. So I do that. And then when the project is done, I will edit it, sometimes on the same day, sometimes the next day, depends on how much energy I have. And then I just edit and, keep it as easy for myself as possible. And not doing a whole lot of filters or effects or whatever. It's just, here's the process, look at it, enjoy it if you want to. And that's it. And then here's the product made. And then, that's kind of it. And then the next day or in between, I've had another idea of stuff to do. So
Love that. So how many videos do you post per week?
I don't have a specific schedule, because it does depend on the video itself or the project itself, how long it takes. But I would say I'm trying to aim for like 3. But then with the trip that I had a while ago, I think I've already posted nothing for a week or maybe a bit longer.
Okay.
So I'm really trying that,
I love how you said that you're working on the project, you're trying to make that thing happen, and then the content is like on the way and you need to record and the sound's going down. Now you don't have a nice light anymore. On those moments, like, what do you do? Because I've been there before, and I'm sure people watching here are feeling like super related to this, because like we all see these creators that like smoothly, like they create the content and they pop out videos every week and they're telling the story. I'm like, how do they do it? So like, how do you do it?
Ooh, I'm also wondering, like, how did they do it? Because I live in the Netherlands, and it's either always rainy or a lot of the times it's rainy and the sun goes down very early, or it becomes like gray and mucky very quickly. So what I used to do in the beginning was actually get really angry if it happened and I wasn't finished or it wasn't happening. At the same time, I also don't really want to work with ring lights, because I don't like that it's not natural. You can see it. You can see that it's not a natural soft lighting. So I just started accepting it. So whenever I'm working on a project and it's going well, if there is a part that I really want to shoot, like for example, right now I'm working on my sewing table. I'm putting veneer on it. If there is something in the process that I really want to show people, or like I'm fixing something or I'm painting something, I will wait for the next day and just accept the fact that I'm not going to be able to continue. But if there's
Right.
stuff that I can already do in the meantime that doesn't need me filming, I will just continue on the project.
All right, so you will put a pause on the project so you can film it next day.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And do you go into the creation of that product or the shooting of that creation process with like a list of like shots, or you start making and just like pop up your phone, just changing it, different positions, different angles, and then you figure out later?
That's literally what it is. I'll just see it along the way. I'm trying to look at the right angles and stuff, and that the lighting is good. But it's really I'll see it when I see it. I'll just do what I have to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's
And you do this. Sorry, go ahead.
no, that there's no script or like a timeline or anything. I'm not. It's just a surprise to me as well every time.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you do this, you've been doing this consistently for like a bunch of months now, which I guess you developed some sort of like comfort to it, maybe. Yeah. Is this something that you get used to it and like incorporate in your creative process? Or do you still feel like it's like annoying sometimes, or that it slows you down?
I think there's an element of getting used to it over time. And I think that everyone agrees, or everyone that has a job, that there's also certain parts of the job that they just don't like. And to me, it's the filming part. It sounds really ridiculous, but it's really the filming part. Why do you make content then? I know, it's silly. I do want to show you everything. I just don't want to film it. So that's different.
Well, I admire that. I respect that. I love that.
Doing it anyway. Like some people
Yes.
don't like to do admin or something, which I also don't necessarily like, but it's just part of the job, I guess. So especially when you have your own company, there's really no escaping to social media. So you kind of have to accept that and embrace it and make the best of it. And then if you're gonna make content that you don't like to make the content, then make it fun content for yourself. Then at least make the project a fun one, and that helps.
Got you.
Yeah.
So your process, just to summarize, is you think of a product, then whenever you can, you go and start making the thing that you want to create, and then start like putting your phone different angles, recording as you go through, and then maybe next day you sit down on the edit. Do you write a voice script or something like that?
Oh, that's also a good one, because
Like a voiceover?
yeah, this also depends on the project. Sometimes it's visual enough, in my opinion, that I don't need to add a voiceover, because to me, I'm quite selective with my energy. This sounds a bit weird maybe, but I'm very selective with what I put energy into. And if I have something to add to it in text, then I will do a voiceover. If it needs explanation or it's not clear enough what I'm actually doing, then I will add a voiceover. But sometimes it's actually better not to. And then I just find some cool tunes, some nice music that I personally like and think contributes to the video. And then it's also easier for me, I have to say. It doesn't cost as much energy, but when I do voiceovers, I do write out a script. I used to not do that, and it causes headaches, and I just have to type it out. So much easier. Yeah.
Love it. All right. So for all you watching, here you go. Berdine starts with the product, and you can start, if you don't have a product, you have a service, maybe you can start with like a client meeting and how it went, and then you record a few shots, and then you start maybe the next day writing a little story about it and like post it. I guess the whole point of it is like volume and like getting into like the habit of making the content and narrating your life, and then just be open to whatever that looks like and whatever it takes you. All right, so to start wrapping up, I'd like to ask you a couple tactics you use, because I'm sure that you've been doing this for like 6 months, that you've found some success in certain videos and you're like, oh my God, let's repeat that. So I'm sure you have like a couple tips or tricks that you use on your content that you see that consistently bring you some views and results. So
Yes.
Just share one or two of these tricks that you have when you make content.
I have a few. I think I don't want to like overplay it and be like throwing something at the camera to like catch attention or something. I refuse to do something like outrageous. But what does happen, especially if you do like a before and after, is to already show some of the result at the beginning. Also with a product, show some of the result at the beginning, because then people will know what they're in for. Then either they say, that's not my thing, I'm going to keep on scrolling, or they say, oh shit, I want to see that. And then they stick around. And then it pays off at the end too, because you get a result. So I would always recommend doing something like that, and also add a caption if you can, just to explain what you're going to do in the video for the same reason.
So you show the product like 80% done or something like that, so not finished?
I think I do the finished result, and then I try to make one shot where it's like interestingly showed. So either something is already styled, or I'm moving it in a way that you're like, what the F is that? And but at the same time, what I've learned from the super viral video of the table is that you didn't even see anything at all. So what I did there, unintentionally, like fully unintentionally, but I realized that after, is that the in-between stage actually looked really weird and interesting. So that was just...
And people were like, what's going on here?
Exactly.
So you pick curiosity on the first shot or first first second of the video.
Exactly. And then I was cutting it and they were like, what is this? And I think that's why people stuck around. And then it also kind of paid off at the end, because I was making it white, and it was like a full homogeneous table thing. And I think that really piqued interest. So that can work. Let me think. It has to just be the first few seconds. Like we've discussed this so many times in our meetings, is that you have to make sure that you catch the interest, or the curiosity within the first few seconds. And then, of course, it has to pay off at the end, but make them want to watch. And that can be interpreted in so many ways. And a lot of the times it still fails with me, but try to make it as interesting as possible. And also, even though I wanted to make like 1 minute plus videos in the beginning, because it was said that it was pushed more, I think it's better to have like more quality in a shorter time than less quality, or like diluted quality over a longer time. So make it as interesting as you can. Make it as wow as you can. You don't have to be outrageous, but make it interesting enough to be fun and to want to watch.
And would you have any other ways in which you make your videos interesting on the first seconds? One way could be this, like, not show the fully finished product, so people are wondering what's going on here.
Yeah.
Do you have any other tactics?
Myself not, but I do see other people using certain things. I mean, there's one, I don't know if I should say that, but there's one dude that really gets under my skin in a very bad way, because he's like constantly doing this in the camera at the beginning, and I'm like, it's so...
I think I know who you're talking about.
Like,
I don't remember his name, but there's this guy from New York, right? Who does...
No, I'm not sure. I think it's someone.
Okay.
A music dude. He makes music, but like spiritual music, but then showing the whole body. Anyway, it's hilarious. That kind of stuff is, I mean, it works. It does work, but it has to be authentic as well. So you have to like really look at what is comfortable for me, and what is, yes, it has to be triggering, but you don't want to trick people into watching. Yeah. That's what I find important.
Got you. And another tactic I've seen you use is you create like almost like mini series of something that's worked before. And I personally think you're doing you're doing it in a very like elegant manner, because like some people will have a viral video and they'll literally repeat the same video over and over and over. And I've noticed like when you got this little table video go viral, then I kept scrolling and I'm like, oh my God, she's got like 4 or 5 more videos with millions of views with the same topic. But what I thought was very interesting is like you were like using questions of the audience. So it's not like you're repeating the same thing, just getting views in this like tip way. But you're like evolving on the story and like almost like having a conversation.
Yes.
So like, yeah, talk to us a little bit about that.
I think it's really interesting that you said this, because I didn't even realize. But yeah, that's true. At first I was getting a little bit stuck on, okay, this went viral, so now do I do this the whole time? Is that how that works? Like, how do other people do this? But then I was like, that just doesn't feel right. It feels like a cheap way. Exactly like you said, it feels like a cheap way to get more views. And that's not what I want. So I think what I thought was, okay, the tables is actually a really cool thing because I liked making that a lot. And I could actually use another one. So if there is someone who has a question about something, I'm gonna do it again in a different design, and I'm gonna see how people like that, and maybe they can make something like that. So yes, the pool noodle thing is one, but I can also make this with it. So if you are looking for some new inspiration, ta-da! And then one of my friends wanted,
And that did well too.
yeah, that did pretty well. And then my friends wanted one, so I was like, okay, that's another reason to make another one. And again, shooting content of it because I'm doing it anyway. And that worked. So that was really fun. And I also think it's good to keep to keep being, how do you say, to keep being sort of innovative and not keep coming up with the same stuff, because I feel like it's diluting the quality of your content, even though the content itself can be good, but I feel like it's good to come up with new stuff. So yeah, I think that's really what it is. And if you involve the public in it, you keep them interested too, because they feel like they're being listened to. Because there's one thing that I personally hate is that when I see a creator or I have questions and they don't respond, they literally don't do anything, it's kind of a turnoff in a sense. And it's not that I'm only replying just so they can stick around. No, I'm actually replying because I want them to know that I appreciate them and that they're being heard. And I think that's how you build a loyal community, I would say.
I love that.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to just do it so that I can get something from them. I really want to do it because I appreciate them, because they are the reason that I'm right here at this point right now. So
I love this. I love this. I think this is a great way to wrap up the episode right here. And if you're someone that's thinking, okay, but how can I implement this for my brand? I recommend you watch this episode right here where I interviewed a founder that turned his lawyer profession into a media company.